Hello, everyone. Dave here, back with another one of my unscripted reviews or impressions or whatever it falls under. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Spider Man Fake Red. Again, it's backwards. I know, I'm sorry. Um, but forgetting all that, I want to dive into why I think this Spider Man manga is amazing and it's such a fun read. Um, I'm a big Spider-Man fan. Obviously, I'm super excited to play the new game that came out yesterday as of time of recording. I'm hoping to get my PS5 this upcoming weekend. Fingers crossed. I played the original Spider-Man PS4. I 600% complete that game, which means I 100% completed it 6 times. I played Miles Morales, and obviously not just the games, the movies, the comic books. If you guys have been around the channel for a little bit now, you may know I'm getting back into physical Western comic books and not just manga. So I've been reading a lot of Spider-Man comic books ever since I was a kid. I've been a big Spider-Man guy. Comics, movies, games, you name it. And now we have manga, which is so cool. um, I didn't know this existed. I was scrolling Amazon one day just for Spider-Man comics, and then this popped up, and I thought, let's give it a shot. And it turned out to be pretty cool read. A really fun read. You can see it's definitely got some heft to it. But I think it only took me one or two sittings because I was that engaged in the story to where I kept, flipping through. And that's pretty good for me because I normally take forever to read even just a simple manga, let alone one that's, about 1.5 times the size or something like that. But anyway, let's get into the actual story. So this story focuses on you, not you, you as in the character's name. And he kind of just finds a Spider-Man suit in the trash and decides to wear it because who wouldn't do that? And then people start to think that, well, obviously they start to think that he's Spider-Man. So he's asked to help somebody in a burning building. He runs into Screwball, which is fun. This manga has some notable characters, like you can see on the cover, Venom and Scorpion, but Screwball is one that I feel like gained a lot more popularity as of late because of the games. So it's nice to see her in other media because as much as I hate her missions in the game, I think a streamer villain is kind of uh, like corny, but in a wholesome way, if that makes any sense. Like kind of fun, bad. Um, but anyway, so you is kind of on these adventures, and we see a parallel to the reason why Peter's not in the suit, and it's because you guessed it, he's being controlled and in some trouble having to do with the Venom symbiote that kind of attached onto him. So meanwhile, you is kind of just forced to just be Spider-Man, um, and he eventually runs into Silk, who is another character that a lot of you all probably know and a lot of you all probably like, same as myself, who's trying to find Peter. So eventually they kind of team up and try to locate where Peter is. And it's this very kind of, despite it being a Spider-Man story, one thing I've always loved about Spider-Man stories is at the end of the day, despite it being, uh, powers and mutants and monsters and whatever, it's still very real at its core. A lot of Peter's stories are a lot about, yes, he's Spider-Man, he's having to do these intergalactic threats and go into space and whatever, but he's also still a kid trying to navigate high school or in later stories trying to navigate college or his marriage or pay bills or whatever, like something that we can all relate to despite him being Spider-Man. And Yu's story is very similar. And even more relatable in the sense that Yu has no powers. He has the suit and that's it. So he gets the web shooters, but he doesn't have the spidey sense. He doesn't have the strength. He doesn't have the, heightened athletic ability. he has, like I said, the shooters and his ability to boulder, which for those who don't know what bouldering is, it's like rock climbing, but on like kind of a lower scale, and you're not hooked up to like a harness. And as someone who has gotten into bouldering himself, it's kind of fun and it's kind of cool to see that hobby implemented in, a Spider-Man story. It was yet another thing that I could look at while reading and be like, oh, I relate to that. I do that too. That's pretty interesting. And he meets a girl. Obviously, it's always about a girl. And, they become like friends and whatnot. And, he kind of has a little thing for her. And she's like, I like you, we're friends, but whatever. But anyway, it gets pretty intense because, all these villains are popping up. They're still trying to find Peter, and it comes to a head. I won't spoil anything for you because the ending is actually pretty nuts. But there's a lot that goes on in this book. It kind of, it's good. I don't know. I don't really know what else I can say, honestly. It's a pretty typical Spider-Man story, except it's not about Peter. It's about you. It's about you. It's yet another, instance that, we as readers can take a Spider-Man story and look at it and put ourselves into the story, or at least relate to certain things about the story. And there's a lot of cool stuff in here, like a lot of good fight scenes. Again, you have a pretty decent gallery of villains that show up in this story. And then you've got, at the end, you've got, eventually Peter does get saved. Spoiler there, but we all knew Peter was going to be okay. And then you've got two Spider-Men, which we can relate to in the current day because, we've got Peter and Miles, and in this story we've got Peter and you. And it's fun. It's just a fun read, and it's a great Spider-Man story. I highly recommend it. I definitely really enjoyed it. There's a lot here that I didn't go over, and there's a lot of like interesting twists and turns and character development that I think was pretty well written. Because this isn't a series. This is a one and done one shot. Granted, like I said, it is bigger than normal one shots or normal single issue volumes of manga. But the writer, story and art by Yusuke Osawa. The mangaka here, Yusuke, was able to do a lot with these characters in a limited amount of time, which I think is very cool and just is really great writing. The art is also really solid. Let me try to find like a good indicator. I mean, you got this Venom, which is pretty scary looking. But yeah, a lot of great action here, a lot of great, twists and turns with the story. And again, it's just a fun ride. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I also feel like I didn't say anything, but I kind of always feel that way, especially with these unscripted videos, which most of my videos are unscripted to a degree. But I just wanted to talk about Spider-Man Fake Red. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys go out and pick it up, especially if you're Spider-Man fans, because I think it's just a fun Spider-Man story. And I think you'll like it. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. It was a quick one, I know. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Have fun playing the new game. If you guys are, I will be playing it hopefully this upcoming weekend when I get my PlayStation. Fingers crossed that all goes well. But yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.